lovelies, welcome to Narc Free Formula. My name's Freedom. Thank you for joining me. Today I wanted to talk about isolation and the narcissist. And the reason I thought that would be a good topic for today is obviously in our current situation with COVID, there are a lot of people who are on lockdown. I hate using that term because it's a prison term, but anyhow, there it is, home arrest. There's a lot of people who are stuck at home, who aren't being able to work or aren't being able to go about their normal kind of everyday life. So that in and of itself is hard enough, but when you add the element of having a narcissistic partner, trying to isolate you from friends, family and work colleagues, that just takes it to a whole different level. So let's talk about it. Like any predator, the narcissist will always go for the weakest or most vulnerable or most isolated animal in the herd, essentially. So just think about, tigers, wolves, whatever, hunting. They're going to go for the sheep that's by itself, or the whatever animal that's, like I said, vulnerable, injured, wounded in some way, whatever. Now, I know a lot of you think, I'm not injured in any way, or I'm healthy and well, and I'm strong, I'm independent, blah, blah, blah. And that may all be true, but there is definitely an underlying theme with narcissists and the people that they end up with kind of long term. So for some of you whose whole relationship, whatever, with the narcissist has been short term, this might not apply so much, because you've got to remember, these people cast out a wide net, and like I said, and they will always kind of work with the people that have this vulnerability, because it's something they can take advantage of and use, which they do. All right, so if you do have friends, family, and good support structures in place, well, then the narcissist is going to have to break down those societal bonds, those familial connections, the things that keep you strong and keep you safe and connected to the rest of the world. They have to break that down, because otherwise, they won't be able to brainwash you and manipulate you so easily. So the ways that they will do this, there's a few different kind of techniques that they'll use, but predominantly the main thing is through the fine art of triangulation. And for those of you who watch my channel regularly, you know exactly what I'm talking about, with triangulation. But for those of you who don't, triangulation essentially just means, imagine you, them, and one other person. And so they say one thing to that other person, and then they say to you something completely different. Or they say, I don't have a problem with you, but, Sarah, you should hear what she's been saying about you, right? Which then makes you get upset with Sarah, even though Sarah was probably, only agreeing with what the narcissist was saying in the first place. And the narcissist probably encouraged them, egged them on, and then exaggerated it when they told you the story. So that's the art of triangulation. They're very good at it, and essentially, to make it work, you can't have the two people that you're triangulating in the same room. They can't be on the same page. They can't get to hear each other's stories or connect, because then you don't have the upper hand as the narcissist. They don't have the upper hand then. All right. So the art of triangulation is one of the keys ways, like I said, that they will isolate you from friends and family, but they'll also use things like flirting with your friends or even your sisters or family members. And what they'll do is they will flirt with your family members, and then they will say, I don't like it when she comes around because she always flirts with me. It makes me really uncomfortable, right? And you will obviously feel uncomfortable because your partner's uncomfortable, and it seems like your sister's flirting with him, and what the hell is going on, right? And he'll be like, but don't say anything, don't say anything. That kind of sowing the seed of doubt about the people that you know and love and trust, is a subtle and insidious way that the narcissist, like I said, breaks down these bonds that you have with people. Or they'll say things like, oh, your mother's jealous of you. She always wanted what you've got, or something like that. They'll play on themes because they're pretty clever, right? So they listen to the things that you say. They pick up on, the things that you say that might indicate there's a slight rift or an insecurity, or they pick up on the themes of things, like where you stand in the family, if you're the black sheep, for example, and they might ever so subtly use that pain point. They're almost like car salesmen. Car salesmen use, pain points to sell things to people. So it's the same kind of thing, they're using your pain points against you. So like I said, saying things like, oh, your mother, your mother, she always looks down on you, or they don't say anything at all, but when you're having an argument with your mother, that's when they will side with you and say to you, it's okay. You don't need her. You don't need her. You've got me. You'll never need anyone now that you've got me. So once again, it's just this breaking down of the familial bonds that at the end of the day keep you safe, because, when you do start having the problems with the narcissist, you need someone who's not involved, who's unbiased, to see it from an outside perspective and to be able to say to you, hey, that behavior is not okay. All right, so anyhow, getting back to it, they are subtle. This is the other thing, don't expect to see these red flags. These aren't the big red flags. These are the really subtle things. You might not even realize it. He's always taking your side in public, in private, but, when he's talking to other people, right, and you're not around, that's when he's saying, oh, look, I know she can be really insecure, paranoid, angry, upset, whatever, whatever it is that whatever narrative, whatever story he's running, he will side against you with your mother-in-law or with your, your sister, your co-worker, whoever it is that you're having a disagreement with. Like I said, he will say one thing to you, and that's all about, he's on your side and you don't need those people. And then he'll go to those very same people, usually under the guise of helping you sort things out, right? And he'll be saying, look, I know she's the problem. Like, I get it that she's the problem, and I'll talk to her, and, and just, once again, sowing the seeds of doubt on the other side, she's always been upset, or she's got issues with you. She's insecure about you. They're pretty clever. Like, you got to hand it to them. At the end of the day, it's super manipulative. They actually really enjoy this kind of thing because it makes them feel powerful, right? And at the end of the day, it will isolate you. You will self-isolate because you won't trust people, because every time you get around these people, there's this weird energy and you don't know what it's about. Like, you can feel the vibe and you're wondering why everyone's a bit curt or a bit cold towards you, but you have no idea. It's because, he's been over there saying things, or just things that are happening that you don't even know about. This is, like I said, this is the art of triangulation. All right, so yeah, they'll always create this, it's you and me against the world mentality, and this I've got your back, except when they're stabbing you in the back. All right, so they'll play you off against friends and family and look like the mediator while they're doing it. They'll be telling them one thing, you another, and you'll think that it's your choice. You'll think, that it's your choice to not have your sister around because you don't want her flirting with your boyfriend or husband or whatever. Never realizing that that outcome was manipulated from the start by the narcissist. All right. Another trick that they will use to isolate you is every time someone, you have visitors or guests, they will act up. They'll either put on a silent treatment, or they'll act bored, or they'll be embarrassing, they'll get too drunk and they'll cause a scene. They do things that essentially will have you reconsidering, you know, reconsidering. So next time you think about inviting someone over for dinner, you'll be like, that's right, remember last time and he got really drunk and started flirting with, you know, your work colleagues? Yeah, maybe I won't do that, you know? And it seems like, you know, none of it, it seems like it all just happened organically, like none of it was staged, but the whole lot is actually staged. This is what they do. All right, lovelies. Last thing, the narcissist will train us to pay close attention to their behaviors and moods, right? And over time, they don't even have to lift a finger. So, for example, you know, they train us to the point where we're literally noticing things like jaw clenching, or, you know, them clenching a fist, or their eyebrow raising, or just subtle little things. But we know, because we've been trained over time by them, we know what comes next, and so we end up kind of preempting their moods and their behaviors, and out of you know, out of kind of self-protection, I suppose, to a certain extent, we will end up, like I said, not inviting people around, not accepting invitations, not going out to, you know, events where people are drinking, or, you know, just not allowing ourselves to be the people that we are, you know. So we end up changing ourselves essentially to you know, to be safe with them. So we end up changing ourselves. All right, so this is what I wanted to say, is this: if you are still in a situation with a narcissist and you're dealing with this whole, you know, COVID-19 fiasco, it's, and the thing is, the media is saying, you know, you've got to do certain things and can't do this and you can't do that. It's more important than ever that you maintain contact with the people around you that you love and who know you, right? It's, you know, because these are the people who will really be your anchor when you need to get out, when you are ready to get out. These are the people that will be able to pull you out, or hold you down, essentially, keep you sane, keep you reality based, you know. And this is why the narcissist got rid of them, you know, so that they've got 100%, there's no, like, they've got 100% control. There's no no one influencing you or your thinking, no one standing up for you, having your back, no one putting, you know, pulling them in line, none of that, right? So work on your friendships, relationships, you know, with your work colleagues, with your friends, with your family. Don't let the narcissist do this, you know, because once they do, like I said, this isolation, it's one of the key techniques that they use. Because once they've got you isolated, you know, once they've got you living out of town, where you've got no, you know, no car, you don't work anymore because they came to work and made so many scenes, you don't see the family anymore because, you know, they just don't like him and they're so mean to him, or, you know, or your sister just won't stop flirting with him. Like, once they've got you in that position, they are all powerful, and getting away from them is going to be so much harder. And I know this firsthand, just exactly, you know, how much harder it is when you don't have anyone to call when you need help, right? So work on those relationships. And one of the key things I would say is just remember that the narcissist is always going to manipulate and spin a situation to suit them, right? So if you can just take a step back from what they're saying and just look at it from, well, as I always say, you know, stay reality based, you know, ask yourself just the basic questions, you know, would my sister really flirt with my husband? That kind of thing, you know. And FYI, this is not me talking about me because I don't have a sister. I sometimes think that people, when they hear me talking, might be thinking, oh, she's talking about herself, but no, yeah, I'm not. But I mean, you know, sister, neighbor, friend, you know, the themes are the same. It's, like I said, it's triangulation, it's manipulation, it's fun for them. There's an element of control, so they're controlling you. They're also sourcing supply. There's a lot of stuff that goes on when they do the flirting with other people stuff. All right, lovelies. Listen, stay safe, and yeah, get narc free and stay narc free.